Oh, finally, some peace and quiet.
So,
Jesus!
you ready to hear about my game?
If I listen, will you leave?
Not a chance.
Dark Souls, the title that everyone uses to describe hard things. Wow, that's the Dark Souls of moms right there. I wanna be Yeah, the game is difficult with no difficult setting. It's set to go f yourself difficulty, and people seem to only know that about the game. No, this video isn't about having an easy mode in Dark Souls. My only argument is if that bothers you, then go play something else. It's not like somebody's holding a gun to your head and forcing you to play Dark Souls. And if they are doing that, don't watch this video. You should probably get some help. If you do want to play Dark Souls and/or are having trouble with it, then keep watching, and hopefully by the end you will get Dark Souls. Why do people like this game if it causes so much pain and frustration? Like, what makes this so much fun? Roll! Oh, move! No! Oh, god dang it. Don't worry, I thought the same thing when I first saw my buddy Thane play it 10 years ago.
Damn it! They suck at this game. Go f yourself.
Dark Souls is more of a sick addiction that can sometimes put alcoholics to shame. And that is the question I'm here to answer today. Why is Dark Souls so addicting? Demon's Souls was the first game in the franchise made by From Software and published by Bandai Namco. You're probably saying, Sky, why aren't you doing the first one? None of us can get a damn PS5. Bots and scalpers can suck a fat, rotting penis. And if you somehow got one, then good for f***ing you. No, I don't want to play the PS3 version when I can play a better, newer one. I'll get to Demon's Souls someday, I promise. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. During the development of Demon's Souls, Hidetaka Miyazaki went God mode and became the lead on it, and later became the company president because of his work on the Souls series. From Software was put on the map, and then copyright issues. Bam! Now we are at the spiritual successor, Dark Souls. Released in 2011, and is what introduced most people, myself included, to the Souls series. Not to get confused with Bleach Dark Souls for the Nintendo DS, or the Norwegian film Dark Souls, because those are the first things people think of when they hear Dark Souls. Yeah, these exist. Everyone has sucked the teats of Dark Souls over the years, making it a critically acclaimed game and selling, as of 2020, over 10 million copies, and I assume that is including the remastered version, which is the version I played, and you should too. They fixed frame rates and certain areas, Blighttown, and it comes with the DLC. Along with all the tit milking, I feel like these Souls games always get tons of hate, and mostly because of their difficulty, making it hard for new players to jump on the Souls train. Being brutally honest, these types of games aren't meant for everyone. If you lack patience and tend to give up when things get hard, this probably isn't for you. If you've never played video games before, you probably shouldn't start with this one, otherwise you will hate video games and think anyone who plays them is a psychopath. That would be like coming out of the womb and immediately becoming a father of 7 little nightmares. It's going to take time to learn how to play, and you are going to die and retry and die and retry and die and retry and die and retry. I get it. This doesn't look fun on the surface, but when we go deeper, there is more to Dark Souls than just dying and taking your anger out on your friends and family. I know for a fact that you've been fighting a boss and someone called your phone, you ignored it. Or someone walks in and tries talking to you. You die and answer what? Reluctantly, and then complain in your head about no pause button. Dark Souls is an action RPG, and really where this game shines for me is in its gameplay. Starting out most RPGs, this one included, you pick a class in the beginning. Most classes don't matter too much. Just make sure you pick the Master Key as your gift unless you pick the Thief. The real focus is going to be your character build. Which stats and type of combat and weapons do you want to use? When I originally played this back in high school, I did a strength 2-handed build. This time around, I focused on a 1-handed dex build. If you want to learn more about builds, there's tons of videos on YouTube. I don't really want to go in depth that much on them. Combat is all about timing and reading your opponent's attacks. By clicking the thumbstick, you can lock onto your enemies, and it is highly recommended you do for almost every fight. The only time it is bad is fighting certain bosses or enemies that jump or fly over you, whipping the camera and making it freak out. Or if you are directly under the enemy. At times like these, just experiment with it. For one-handed dex build, I used a shield, and for most new players, I recommend using one because dodging can be kinda hard at first. Shields do a great job of blocking most attacks, plus you can parry and counter once you get good enough. Like I previously mentioned, fighting is all about timing, watching your opponents and timing a parry or waiting for them to miss a hit and striking back. You can also backstab spam. The reason why shields are so good is because you don't need to focus on timing, just block the attack and hit back. You can also dodge roll to avoid attacks. All that being said, what makes combat more interesting is you have to manage your stamina bar. Blocking, rolling, and attacking all use your stamina. Stamina recharges slower while holding up your shield to block, and you lose stamina when an enemy hits it. Keep in mind that your shields can't block every attack, and most still injure you even just a little bit. Can't block a giant tooth swung by the Rockman himself. Another element that can make or break a fight is the area you are fighting in. You need to be aware of your surroundings and have good spatial awareness. Sometimes a tight hallway is your greatest enemy. Instead of smacking walls and getting nowhere, try leading your opponent out in a more spacious area and fight there. A good incentive that promotes killing all the enemies, especially early game, is every enemy killed gives you souls, plus the sound of killing things is so satisfying. Souls are your currency that you use to level up, buy items, upgrade armor and weapons, repair weapons, and much more. But every encounter is essentially a gamble because upon death, you drop all your souls, and if you die a second time without retrieving them, they are gone forever. Many times you will have lots of souls stacked up and then die and lose everything. It's very disheartening, but also puts so much more weight to all of your decisions. It really makes you question your next moves, wondering if you should take a fight or move to the next room, praying that there's a bonfire waiting for you. Bonfires are checkpoints and also where you level up, but upon resting at one, it resets most of the enemies you just killed, save some bigger enemies like Black Knights or the big pig you just fisted. This element adds even more weight to your planning, especially if you just got past some tough enemies. But bonfires are always the best butthole declencher when you find one. Yeah, you play this game with a puckered beehole basically the entire time. Cash in those souls, people. You may lose them. That's just one reason why the game is so addicting. You are wanting to kill everything to get souls to buy crap and level up. Most games I find myself running past enemies or avoiding them because they are just an obstacle with no reward. That being said, I usually kill all the enemies once in an area and then find myself running past everything later. Yeah, you can't pause the game, and the reason being, a mechanic of this game is invading other players' worlds and being invaded and ruining each other's days. So of course that would be cheating if Dick McGee invades you and you pause the game. Dark Souls is meant to be played online because of this mechanic. Players can also help you by leaving helpful hints or screw you over with said hints. It's all in good fun. You have to reverse hollow in order to summon or invade, and you also have to have online. The account I played didn't have online, so Dick McGee wasn't an issue. But don't worry, the game still has NPCs that will invade you if you reverse hollowed. Should there be a pause button in offline mode? Probably, I don't know. I don't care. Just plan your play sesh and set your priorities straight. If your wife Crystal's giving birth, hitting her up with, "Hold on babe, I'm about to beat this fat bitch with man tits," probably won't fly. Also, you're a bad husband. You reverse hollow at bonfires by offering humanities as well as kindling bonfires, which gives you more Estus when you rest at said bonfire. Estus is bottled fire for healing. Wow, drinking fire. That sounds like a move right out of Satan's playbook. In the beginning, Dark Souls is tough. The game doesn't really tell you where to go. You are weak and you're going to die lots and lots of times trying to get the hang of the ropes. But the game does try to teach you in the beginning. You can go left and fight skeletons that are way too strong and you die. Or you can go down an elevator where you find enemies that are easier, but then you see ghosts that you can't even kill. Go right, oh, I see enemies that I fought in the tutorial. Hey, I can kill these guys. In Dark Souls, if what you are doing isn't working, try doing something different or head to a different area. It becomes so much more fun when you learn what to do and how to do it. Plus, it's so much more rewarding figuring it out by yourself instead of being spoon-fed. Why does the game allow me to go to all these harder areas right off the bat even though I'm just going to get dunked on? Because better players can go to these harder areas and not get dunked on. The game accommodates all skill levels of players. Along the way, you find tons of items, weapons, and armor to experiment with. Try everything and see what you like best, but be aware of your weight limit so you aren't stuck fat rolling the whole game. Yes, fat rolling is a term in Dark Souls. One of my favorite parts of RPGs is seeing my character level up and become a god. It really is exciting in this game, going from a slow fat roll king to Super Saiyan level, gamering on early game enemies that kicked your butt, or killing enemies that were bosses at one point just casually. Eat my wet sack, Capper Demon. Even though you become a god, you can still die to peasants. Every encounter is a gamble. Anytime you see cool armor or weapons that NPCs, good or bad, have, you can usually get them at some point in the game, whether by buying it or finding it. There are lots of secret items and weapons to find. Pro tip, see a dragon, cut its tail off. It's probably a sword. You do have to meet stat requirements with weapons to use them effectively, so keep that in mind when planning out your build. Bigger weapons require more strength, and dex weapons require more dex. There are plenty of different creatures for you to vanquish throughout your hellish stay in Lordran, and it never gets stale. Most of the designs are nightmare fuel, but that's okay, all the more reason to kill them. These tit lizard frog things suck. They curse you, and curses are bad. Keep in mind there are enemies and water that can poison you and have other effects, so leveling up your resistance stat isn't such a bad idea. Also, treasure chests can eat you. Look at the chain to tell if it's a mimic or not. A chain that circles back is good, and a chain that is straight will eat you. Dark Souls is probably best known for its epic boss fights. Plenty of giant bosses with great designs. Oh god, it's a wolf with a sword, run! The boss fights can be really tough. Some bosses I was stuck on for a while, and others I could beat on my first try. Yes, I beat ONS on the first try, but OBS crashed, I swear. Damn you OBS, you took this from me. Watch and read the boss's moves, and then get some butt pokes in. With a little patience and good timing, you can win. It does make me die a little on the inside when I see speedrunners beat the entire game in an hour without even dying, or even getting hit. This is another part that makes Dark Souls so addicting. Trying time and time again, getting so close to slaughtering any boss to where you can almost taste the victory is drugs for the mind. It's the same reason why people like Battle Royale so much. There are so many players with only one victor, and the odds are stacked against you. In Dark Souls, you, a David, going up against Goliath, and the odds are stacked against you. You try time and time again jumping off the Fortnite battle bus, seeking that one win, or walking through the fog time and time again, seeking that one win. Once you finally achieve victory, you suddenly crave it more and more. You want an easy mode? Do a mage build, or summon friends or NPCs for fights. There is so much I didn't mess with during my playthroughs, from mage builds to miracles and magic to elemental weapons. There is lots to do in Dark Souls, and you definitely need more than one playthrough to experience all of what Dark Souls has to offer. There is no in-game map, so you become very familiar with the map layout. One thing that I've always praised the Souls games for is how connected the world feels with all of its shortcuts and branching paths that resolve nicely. You explore a little bit and you find an elevator shortcut back to Firelink Shrine. I love the connectivity. Exploring is such a treat, finding items, weapons, NPCs, secret areas, bonus bosses. It's all just so great. The levels and level design are awesome. Most of the time. F. Blighttown and Sen's Fortress. Spoiler alert, the bonfire you were looking for is right here off this cliff. Anor Londo is humongous and amazing. The Darkroot Garden is majestic. The Duke's Archives is Harry Pottery. Tomb of the Giants is dark. Some backgrounds and skyboxes are breathtaking. There are some poopers, but exploring Lordran is such an experience that I recommend not using walkthroughs for your first time, but if you are stuck, by all means, it's fine to get help, and anyone that tells you otherwise are the gatekeepers of hell. We want to help new players, you bastards. Not everyone is god tier big brain level, and quite honestly, I don't know if I could have even beaten this game originally without any help either. One complaint I do have is some of the platforming the game makes you perform sucks. You look at some places and you think, there's no way that is where I'm supposed to go, right? Yeah, you do. Or you look down an edge and you say, do I really just have to fall down? Yep, you do. Circle/B jumping blows. You sprint and then you tap the same button to jump. It's not good. Platforming in Dark Souls is bad. You'll die from falling lots, and not solely from bad platforming. There are lots of holes that you will stumble upon or walk through doorways to death. The game hates you, okay? Just remember that. Getting to the DLC bugged the hell out of me. You need to find a bunch of items, and honestly, without a walkthrough, I don't think there was any way I would have found it. Also, don't beat the game either before doing the DLC, because New Game Plus starts whether you want it to or not. In the beginning of the DLC, it's just the Darkroot Garden again, and lore-wise it makes sense, but still was kinda disappointing for me. This was also the first time I've done a New Game Plus ever. It's fun because you keep your weapons and armor and stats, so you start out broken. So you've bested Dark Souls and you've beat the game. Now you are probably asking the same question as everyone else. What on God's green earth did I just play? The lore and story are not necessarily hidden, but are connected to its characters and items. Lots of characters you come in contact with have quest lines you can do, mostly consisting of you talking to them and finding them in other places and talking to them some more. Not all of them are like this, but you get the idea. To be honest, this isn't a very happy game. Most of the characters have sad endings where you end up killing them because they go hollow. What is going hollow, and why does every character you talk to say don't go hollow? Well, every time you die, you go hollow, so am I not hollow already? Lots of the game can be up to interpretation, and what I get from hollowing is equivalent to giving up. The only way to go full hollow is to quit and give up on your journey. And you see this happen to many characters throughout the game. You start out weak with no equipment or experience and become an awesome badass adventurer. You meet Solaire and he is pumped up for his journey, but by the end he is discouraged when you, the player by the end, are confident and motivated to finish the fight. The entire game is an underdog story. You are weak and small compared to what you fight, especially compared to the bosses, which can all usually one-shot you. You shouldn't win against this thing ever, and yet you, small insignificant weakling, can. Through trial and error, time after time, one enemy at a time, you can succeed, learn from your mistakes, and never give up. I mean, sure, it helps that you can never die, but you still can win. That is my favorite theme Dark Souls has to offer, is to keep trying. Most of the characters have lore, and it's sad. Even the bosses have lore, and learning about it makes me more sad knowing I have to kill them. Artorias and Sif are two great examples, but I don't want to spoil anything for you. Even the endings of the game are sad. I'm not sure which is the good ending, or if there even is a good ending. The world is frozen in time, with characters never being able to truly die. Every time you rest at a bonfire, time resets and the world goes right back to the way it was. I wanted to do this video without mentioning his name, but I can't do that in good conscience because, like me and many others, learning this lore wasn't an easy feat, and I would argue that most people learned the bulk of the lore through this man. Vati Vidya makes amazing lore videos about Dark Souls, and you should really go check them out if you are wanting to learn more. Dark Souls is an experience to say the least. I'm not saying it's perfect. It has its flaws that most players can agree are awful. Running back and forth to boss areas is not fun, especially when FromSoft puts dickheads in your way that kill you before you even get to the fight of the boss. The platforming sucks, and the hit detection can be sometimes buggy, but all in all, it is an amazing game. It doesn't take much to get sucked into the world of Dark Souls and addicted to its combat, soul collecting, and exploring. I never got bored once while playing it, and it became my sick addiction for a couple weeks. Every encounter is a gamble. Every room you enter is a gamble. Every person you talk to or don't talk to is a gamble, and it's amazing. Trying time and time again, and after all of your efforts, you finally succeed. Seeing that victory screen and doing some taunting emote after is such a sweet feeling and really hard to describe. Like I previously mentioned, Dark Souls is an experience and is probably the best way to describe this game. You may not fully understand what you are doing and the motivations behind your actions and others, but learning about the lore gives more weight to your decisions and helps enlighten you on characters and bosses that you encounter. I'm not saying this is the greatest method of storytelling, but I can get behind it. Dark Souls is a difficult game for many reasons and is not for everyone. And if that is you, don't feel bad. But if you are going to take on the epic challenge that is Dark Souls, remember, keep trying, adapt, learn from your mistakes, get creative, and no matter what, don't you dare go hollow. What the hell?
I told you it's pretty good.
I still have so many questions.
Don't we all?
What do I do now? I feel so weird and I want more.
I got plenty more where that came from, you crack addict.
Or are the rest of them as good as this one?
That's for you to decide, little elf boy. Also, I'm pleasantly surprised you haven't tried to kill anyone yet, considering how angry you've gotten.
Well, I mean, it is still just a game.
Try telling that to the lovely European couple I was with a few days ago.
Wait, is that a thing? Do you go around, show people Dark Souls, get them addicted, and then they go on violent rampages?
The addiction part, yes, but I don't expect them to go on violent rampages. But I do enjoy it when it happens.
Why? Are you that bored with life?
You literally just played my life. I don't get some hot blonde with every new game. I get death and loneliness.
You know, now that you put it that way, I guess my life is pretty good. By the way, I picked the fish girl despite everyone telling me how wrong that was.
It is wrong! You get this sexy human princess and then you go for the fish? Maybe my life is better. You know what? You don't get to play any more of my games. I'd rather go hang out with the European couple. And they're dead!
No, please wait, Mr. Dark Souls. I want more. I have this unquenchable thirst to kill things.
I can have the hobblon.
Sure, yes, anything.
You know, I want the fish grill too.
Okay, fine, sure, yeah, take the fish in my life. I don't care. I just want more.